Hey everybody, welcome to the demo today. I'm going to walk you through how I formatted this script for my one photo story, and then I'm also going to demo how I read it. Before we get started, there's a few things that you should be aware of. First of all, I mentioned in class that we're not going to read from these large drawn out paragraphs. That the best way to do this is to organize your story like a script. And so you'll see that for my story here, it looks just like a script that you'd see for TV or like a podcast. Everything is broken down or organized into individual sentences. Now, if you look closer, you'll see this area where it says the word break in brackets. When you see something like this where a word is in brackets like break, it means that we're stopping to take a breath. This is normally about 1 to 2 seconds. Now, you could also you might also see extended breaks where there might be break might show up twice, or you might see a note that says, let this one breathe, like, let it breathe. And normally, if you see something that says let it breathe, it means don't say anything. Just let this is a key for you to utilize silence to really create tension. And normally when we see something like this happen, when you see so let me read it like this. So let me read it. We're looking at this photograph. It's all I have left of her. At least that's what it feels like. You see how that really long silence, it creates this tension already. I'm letting you sit with just those 2 sentences for a moment, and it really starts to set the stage of the image that we're looking at. So that's one tip. Now, you'll see that I have it organized. So you'll see that some breaks, it's just 1 or 2 sentences. Others, there's a few lines. And what I'm doing is I'm breaking it up based on how I might talk or how I might be thinking in my head. So now, when I read through this, I'm not reading like dull and monotone. It's all I have left of her. At least that's what it feels like. A photograph on my phone, a woman holding a child somewhere in the desert. See, that sounds just very boring and like you're really just not interested in telling the story. It sounds as though you were reading from the page. And that's really not what we want to do. We want to read this story or recite this story as if we're actually talking. So you're not going to get this perfect right out the gate on your first try. It's going to take a little bit to get the tone right. So I would say read through it loud, read through it vocally a few times just to hear your voice and hear your pitch and your tone. As you start to hear yourself talking, you'll start to see what certain lines really deserve certain tones or energy and which ones don't. So let's give it a try, and I'll show you. Let's read through this. I'm going to read it like I normally would, as if I'm telling a story, and then I'll point some things out where other things that I think you should keep an eye out for. All right, here we go. So also the other thing is I've read. So this story is about a photograph, and the person looking at it doesn't know who this person is, but they feel like they should. So it's very kind of sad and melancholy. So let's keep an ear out for how I use that tone. It's all I have left of her. At least that's what it feels like. A photograph on my phone. A woman holding a child somewhere in the desert. The wind blowing in her hair. That look people get when they don't know they're being photographed. I keep staring at it, trying to remember. Did I take this photograph? Did someone give it to me? I just don't know. And the stranger thing is that I feel like I should know. There's a story here I wish I knew. Maybe someone else has it. Is that her daughter? Did I make this photo? Was this a good day for them? Or maybe the last good day? I connect the dot. I sit here looking at the image and I'm connecting the dots that may not even exist. Am I getting closer to a truth or further away from it? I've always been drawn to abandoned photographs. I've found photos like these before, the ones left behind in drawers, boxes, attics, discarded in parking lots. It's someone's memory, evidence that they were here. And I always used to wonder what happened to people in those pictures. But there's one thought I just can't stop thinking about. What happens when the photograph survives, but the memory doesn't? All right. So I hope that gives you, I hope that you could hear and sense the tone and the concern in my voice. Now, as you listen to that, you'll see that I added some words and phrases as I read, because as I read them, it just something naturally came to my mind that if I was saying this, these words just like I just instinctually want to add certain words to it just to help make it flow. There's other ones where you might have noticed is that I read the sentence. I think I might have read this sentence. The stranger thing is that I feel like I should know. And you might have seen my facial expression kind of twist a bit because the sentence didn't really roll off my tongue in a comfortable, meaningful way. And so I'd want to make note of that to say, hey, I need to go back and reword this so it flows a little bit better. Now, once I'm done recording, I'm going to bring this into Premiere Pro, and then what you'll notice is that we'll have this sound file, and there is a space between each of these bits of information of the story. This is going to allow us to either shorten the space or the gap or even extend it, and that's where we'll add sound effects and music. All right, so that's it. And then I want you to give this a try yourself at home. So you'll see that I'm reading this from inside a podcast studio. You can use your closet. You can use your car in a quiet place, turn with it shut off, or another quiet room. It's not going to be perfect the first time or the seventh time. So it's going to take a few times for you to read this. And I would keep all the recordings because in one recording, you may say half of it and it sounds just right, but the other half kind of flops. And then in the next recording, the first half flops and the second half sounds great. And then you can cut and paste and blend both recordings together if it makes sense. So that's it. Good luck. Give it a try and good luck.